So Stellar launched in a similar time period. They launched at the end of 2014, which also was a downtime in the market and a challenge. And they received a $3 million equity investment, and then they went forward, and as they've needed to raise funds in the future, they auction off blocks of tokens at that time. And I think for companies going forward, that might be one of the better methods there. Of course, there's STOs. That's what everybody's talking about in the space, right? Are you guys all fans of STOs?
Well, I'm sorry, what is it?
Oh, security token offerings. Really? You guys don't know about security token offerings? Okay.
It's a totally different exchange.
Well, there's no exchanges yet.
There are STOs,
Yeah.
2 of them. But that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Which 2 that are effective now?
is it? I don't know. We were talking about them yesterday. I don't remember the name. But I know it's 2 that. Gina Malik was the one that she's doing.
Plenty of US and stuff is still.
So what do you think? You're the CPA. What do you think about STOs?
Well, I think there's a number of issues that are unsolved still with them. So, I mean, first from the tech side, there's potential security vulnerabilities with smart contract architecture, and none of the companies that are issuing the STOs have had what I consider good answers for how they're working with that. And this has tended to be kind of a fast and loose industry with regards to security, and people throw things out quickly. And I have a little bit of concerns about a DAO type hack souring people with it, so I hope people will take that really seriously. But I mean, there's other issues as well. So, you know, one of the big issues is legal liability. When you do an IPO, it's not that you pay Morgan Stanley $50 million because they're the gatekeeper, like people say. You pay them all that money because they have a team of lawyers that are going over every single little piece of your business structure, every communication you have with investors, and protecting you against liability as both the company and your leadership of the company. And just because you're issuing a security token doesn't mean you magically waive this liability because you're suddenly saying you're security. You have whole other sets of liability that I feel like nobody's really addressing in the industry right now. But then the big one is earnings. Because everybody talks about hard coding earnings into STOs and that being the big reasoning for it. But unless you're hard coding in a portion of your gross revenues, how can you be doing that? Because profit is so subjective coming from an accounting background. Like, you can change profit to be any number you want to show. So then, where do disputes come in? How do you determine this? And if you are using gross revenue, is that really to the best interest of the company or the token holders? Because typically the reason you delay paying earnings from a tech company is that the tech company is better able to reinvest the profits than you would be able to reinvest as an individual on your own. And also it's more tax efficient because otherwise you end up with double taxation. So yeah, these are my concerns of STOs that I haven't really yet seen addressed well. But I do think they have their place to replace crowdfunding in a lot of circumstances. But I think people are a little too gung-ho right now about it. So, yeah?
They're not far away, and when they do figure out some of those things, I like Polymath's graph where it compares Polymath to Ethereum. And right now it's right here. When STOs take off, and we can securitize everything, including stocks. The traditional stocks. I mean, it's just going in private equity.
Yeah, well, I love the Polymath guys. Trevor's great and everything.
Yeah.
I just still haven't seen, either the tech or the legal aspects that are, that are answering these. There was a question back here.
So, I'm a product guy, so I'm diverging you back to the product. You're going to be a public blockchain.
Yes.
On your branch. How are you solving the problem of gross to net processing of millions of transactions on a public blockchain with proof of work requirements and the time that it takes?
Oh, absolutely. So because we're in, that's I think one of the big benefits of having a niche protocol rather than generalized protocols is you only have specific types of transactions on your network. So certainly you hit a point of scalability challenges, but if you are limiting the types of transactions you have, you're never going to have a CryptoKitties or a big sports betting platform that's competing with your other financial transactions. And payroll, you know, you typically have less transactions in general than a lot of these other applications. So I think it would take a very long time before, with a proof of work system, that there would be limitations based on, you know, kind of the general block sizes. Yes?
You say you guys are basing your tech off of, you're basically a Bitcoin core.
Mm-hmm.
So are y'all not going to utilize the Lightning Network capabilities to be able to deal with that issue?
We may down the road. I mean, there's another benefit. So we're weighing out Lightning Network or using some sort of zero knowledge snarks, because one of the benefits of Lightning Network is you can have a certain amount of privacy with transactions, but it's not full privacy. There is no full privacy. Like, a lot of people launch privacy coins, but they're not like real privacy
Well, not
coins
necessarily the
because
privacy,
it's
but
totally
the
separate.
transaction.
Well, no, but I mean,
Perception.
but it has the benefit of that, but I don't think we would need it right away. So there's also an added cost of transaction processing. So you always in these decision making have to weigh out the cost in a transactional nature with the benefit you're providing. And that's something that can be implemented down the line in order to solve a certain amount of the scalability issue, but it has certain potential issues with it as well.
So are you going to face with banking partners as well as hosting potential accounts on your own? So you'll be doing money movement and money management with banks, right?
Yeah, so we're going to be working with banks, market makers. Like, we're not going to be controlling the accounts. Our token isn't used to transfer any value. Our token, so the way it's set up is you have 100 of our P tokens, and each one of them you have a smart contract that accesses a single payment that then is routed through whatever other banking source you want to trigger it through.
So you're going to use Turing complete smart contracts? or
No, we're not having Turing complete smart contracts. It's much more secure without that capability within the smart contract itself. We also are having it set up where you have separate access to the underlying tokens than to the smart contracts. So that way you can have a custodial solution for the underlying tokens with, you know, separate private and public keys, and the API only accesses the smart contracts.
So I'm still having a brain clot, forgive me, because...
Yeah, I know it's
Well,
Is it, do you have a permission to function?
well, hold on,
No,
hold on a second.
no,
So
it's
from a gross to net payroll processing perspective, it's
Uh-huh.
incredibly intensive. The largest processor in the US is still using a system that's 30 years old because they can't create a system that's faster. So how are you achieving the speeds and throughput you're thinking of? In order to meet banking deadlines, which are generally 4 o'clock for credit unions, 2 o'clock for bigger banks.
Yeah, so on that aspect, we're probably going to partner with another company to be doing a lot of that. I mean, I've been looking at, you know, I think Ripple has really good technology in that area with the Bitcoin bridge and what they've developed there. So that would be a potential. Stellar has some good technology there. So, I mean, I'd be looking at, you know, partnering with somebody else to be providing that service on top of what we're providing as the actual, like, you know, smart contract verification with the AI tools. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? All right, well, thank you all for coming out.